What's up, sweet cheeks? I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to recreate the famous Krispy Kreme glazed dozen donuts. So that will be the aim of today's video, is to really present you at the end with two boxes, the originals, our copycats, and hopefully you won't be able to tell the difference. We will also have a guest appearance at the very end. I cannot tell you who. Without further ado, let's get cooking. So what about taste and texture? From a visual standpoint, they're absolutely incredibly beautiful. They have this really beautiful glaze that is incredibly thin, and they have this nice, rich golden color. They really have sort of a airy, pillowy texture, and as you sort of chew down, it sort of almost melts in your mouth. It almost feels like a touch doughy. It doesn't feel overly sweet, it doesn't feel overly oily, and then that glaze is just enough to bring that balanced sweetness into it. And it does feel a little bit oily on my fingers, but yeah, absolutely delicious. Now we're gonna start with our dough making. Flour, baking powder, salt, potato starch, xanthan gum. There's a reason why we add xanthan gum. If you do know, please comment below. Some caster sugar mixed with some vanilla sugar, our egg mixture, our yeast mixture, water and skim milk powder, oil, vinegar, really small amount of glycerin. We're going to mix this first on low speed, just to sort of mix those ingredients together. We don't want to put it straight away on high, because otherwise you're gonna have fucking flour flying around. Once we start forming a semi-dough, we can increase the speed to quite high, and then we'll mix it for about 10 to 12 minutes. So our dough is ready. Now the next important step that we have to do is shaping. Now Krispy Kreme, they have this machine where they add the dough in, it's pressurized and basically spits out these perfect round donuts. We don't have that, so we have to mimic something similar. We first start off with oiling our surface. Just a bit of oil, just lightly, not too much. Give it a good rub. Think of someone special. The key is, as we shape this dough on our oiled surface, is to create a really nice, tight ball. And once we have a tight ball, we're gonna add just a touch more oil, just to sort of keep that dough nice and wet. We're gonna use a tray, piece of parchment paper, a touch of oil. Again, really important that we add oil. And we add our dough on top, place it nicely centered. This sort of strategy going on with the oiled piece of parchment paper. So once the dough proofs, it doesn't stick when we unmold it or transfer it to our working surface. Again, this is quite important, so we really focus on achieving that perfect donut stencil. So without further ado, let's give this bad boy a lovely proof. So our dough has beautifully risen. It is flat, that is completely normal. Now we're going to just oil our surface and then gently flip it over. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, merrily. Back to seriousness. I think it is nicely rolled out. Quick little check. Just under centimeters, just around 8 millimeters. We have our stencil that is approximately the same diameter as the final Krispy Kreme donut. We have our other stencil equipment, which is sort of a end of or beginning of a piping nozzle.
Oh yeah, who's your daddy? Daddy.
They look beautiful, petite, and now we have to proof them. This process will take between 1 to 2 hours depending how warm your environment is. So it really has to proof correctly, it has to double in size, otherwise the donut is going to be too dense and you're not going to have a nice donut. As simple as that. See you shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, we are closing the gap. Our dough has beautifully risen. It is almost there. Now we're going to move into our glaze. So if you come a little bit closer, I'll run you through it. So here we have our icing sugar. There's a bit of salt in there, some water mixed through with some vanilla syrup. I cook that with some agar-agar powder, water and potato starch. And then last but not least, we're going to finish it off with some neutral oil. Neutral oil is going to essentially give it a nice and beautiful shine, as we would see with the Krispy Kreme donut. So now we're going to mix our cum mixture into to our icing mixture. We're going to add our neutral oil. So we are ready to fry. Everything is ready. We have our station prepped. I think that is quite important. So you can really do everything in sort of sequence. So we have some side stuff where we're going to add our parchment paper that you saw earlier on. We're going to fry our donuts at 180 C. We have a little drip tray where we're going to add our donuts for the excess oil to drip off. This is our lovely glaze. Then we're going to place our fried donuts, our hot fried donuts here. We're going to quickly glaze it, and then we're going to prep it on our lovely tray. Let's get cooking. Good looking. So here we are, folks, at the end of the road. We have our 24 glazed donuts. Can you tell the difference? I certainly can. I'm pretty sure you can too. I don't know, you tell me in the comments below. So on your left side, we have the Krispy Kreme. Am I satisfied? I definitely think so. What do we sort of see in terms of difference? I think definitely color. But we're going to compare them in a little bit more detail side by side. I think from a visual standpoint, it is, I think, pretty good. I'm quite proud of myself. If I look at the glaze, I think we did an incredible job. It is incredibly thin. And then the other thing I like is we're able to achieve that sort of tri-color, which happens when you proof them correctly, essentially. A key difference here is just the color. Krispy Kreme just has that really nice sort of golden yellow, sort of brownish tone to it. These are sort of just things I think that are just not possible, just because it's sort of commercial setting versus home kitchen setting. So we're gonna try the Krispy Kreme donut. Let's try my donut. The Krispy Kreme version is definitely much lighter. That is significantly noticeable. That said, I'm pleasantly surprised. I find our copycat version incredibly soft. It is incredibly delicious. I feel everything is balanced. But anyways, enough about me and my explanation. As I said and as I promised, we're going to have a special guest appearance who is going to give us a nice judge and rating on my attempt, which I think will be much more interesting than always hearing me fucking blabbing on. So let's get her on. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around if you've made it so far to this point. So as I mentioned, we're going to have a guest, which is my close friend Charlene. So please, Charlene, don't be too shy, please come in.
Hello everyone.
Today's sort of video was essentially recreate Krispy Kreme donuts as best as possible. We wanted to have your feedback, so from a visual standpoint and then also from a taste. So please take it away.
I think Krispy Kreme donuts this one, and the reason for it is the color of it.
Would you say they both look like commercial donuts, or you would say no, one is clearly a commercial donut and the other is a homemade donut?
No, I mean, I would say both look commercial.
Which one are you going to try first?
I'll try your donut first.
Big bite, good news. What's the first thing that comes to your mind that you're thinking about this donut?
I really like tasty donut. It's definitely something I haven't tasted like that in the stores or outside. I like the texture of it. It's very soft and peely when you bite into it, which is difficult again for a homemade donut. Yeah, overall they're really good, really tasty.
Great. Next up we have the Krispy Kreme. Big bite, good news. Good news for Krispy Kreme. What are sort of the first thoughts that are coming?
There's one main difference between the two. That's definitely the texture. But while I mentioned yours was really fluffy and pillowy, this, I don't know how to describe it. It's like very thin, because once you eat it in your mouth, there's not that much texture in your mouth.
Yeah.
But taste-wise, I almost feel like yours is a touch more fragrant than the Krispy Kreme one, which in the end, next to yours would come a bit more neutral, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think flavor-wise, you achieved a really nice donut. I really like your flavor, but I really like their texture.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your feedback and your time. Maybe we'll incorporate Charlene a little bit more. I don't know. No one gets to try my food. But yeah, thank you very much. So folks, that is a wrap. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I tried to break it down as best as possible. Please let me know if you liked the inclusion of someone tasting my recipes. We have some other people we can also invite. We did think about it, make things a little bit more interesting. So please let me know. And as always, thank you for tuning in. Again, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, I wish you all the best, and until next time.